Hi, hello guys. This is Sharat Chandar K. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me today. In this video, we will create our very own JSON validator and beautifier from scratch using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Without wasting your time, let's dive into a quick demo. In this demo, you will understand what is JSON and how we validate, beautify and minify the JSON value. JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation, is a popular data format for exchanging information between a server and a web application. Often, JSON data can be lengthy and challenging to read, but with our JSON app, you will be able to transform it into an easily readable and organized format. So, here I have pasted a sample JSON data. With the help of these three events, we are going to perform an operation with this sample data. So the first one is validate. If I hit validate, now the tool will return a response validate successful. If I remove and I will try to hit validate now, it will return a response. Please enter JSON value. Other two events also same. So if I repaste again and I will hit validate, now we will get a validate successful. If I remove any of the values from this sample JSON data and hit validate, now it will return a error response with expected comma or close bracket with the position of 306 and then line number with column 2. If I redo this and I will go somewhere else and I will remove the value. So now it will return a position of 1028 and it has changed the line and column 2. Now if I redo this and it validate, now we will get a validate successful. And we have another option to format or beautify. If I hit this, now the JSON app will organize your JSON data effortlessly to human readable. And we have another option called Minify or compact. So if I hit this, now our JSON app will compress all your JSON data into a single liner. So we can copy this and we can go and paste here. We can able to validate and we can able to beautify this too. And again we can able to minify this. But we were not stopping there. I will explain every line of code so you truly understand how this works. By the end of this video, you will have a practical JSON formatter and beautifier that you can use in your projects to streamline the way you work with JSON data. That's all for the demo. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below. Make sure to subscribe for more coding tutorial and tech content. Your subscription is a vote of confidence and it enables us to keep producing high quality, informative video that you can learn and share with your friends and family. Let's build our own. Here I have already created a project folder name called JSON tool. Let me open this into my favorite code editor. I will drag this directly into a Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code will automatically loads all the files into it. Inside the directory, I have already created a index.html, script.js and style.css. If you want this example project structure, I have added a link into the description. Please clone it and start working with me. And I will jump into the index.html and will start adding the HTML boilerplates. For that, we have a abbreviation, type exclamation mark and hit enter. It will automatically create a HTML boilerplate. Then we'll change the title called JSON Formatter by Sharat Chandar K. And then we'll link other two files into the HTML file. For that, we have another embed abbreviation with link colon CSS. If I hit, it will automatically create a style sheet with the help of href. It is pointing to the style.css. The link tag defines the relationship between current document and an external resource. And then we'll add the script file. So for that we have another abbreviation script colon src. If I hit, it will automatically create a script tag with src. We need to manually type the file name. The script tag is used to embed a client-side script or it points to an external script file through the source attribute. And then now we'll add the HTML elements into the body. The body element contains all the content of an HTML document. So inside that we are going to add a div with container. For that we have a abbreviation dot container. If I hit enter, it will create a div tag with the class attribute with the value of container. Div tag defines a division or a session in an HTML document. Inside that we'll add another tag called h2. H2 tag are used to define a HTML headings. So inside that we'll add the value of JSON Formatter and Beautifier. And then now we'll add the another div tag with the value of row. I will hit enter. It will create a div with class attribute. And inside that we are going to add the three columns, right? The first column contains the text area and second columns contain row and then third columns contain another text area. For that we have another abbreviation with the help of dot column asterisk 3. See, now you can able to see this embed abbreviation what this has. So if I hit this, now we will get this 3 div tag with the class attribute. If I hit, now you can see this 3 div tags. So inside that, as I said, we are going to add a text area, and with the help of id we can say JSON before, and here inside that we are going to add the button. Here we have a three buttons. So for that we have another abbreviation with button asterisk 3. If I hit enter, it will create a three buttons. So the first button is validate. If I hit tab, it will automatically jump into the second button. So here we can say format or beautify. And again I will hit tab, it will jump next button value, and here I can type minify or compact. And then in the third column again we are going to add the text area with the help of id JSON after. Now let's see our HTML in action. For that in Visual Studio Code we have a extension called go live. So if I click this, it will automatically start the server. With the help of port, we can able to see this. So what is go live? Generally, when we make any changes into our code, to see those changes, we need to manually refresh the page, right? So here the live server come into the picture. Whenever we modified or we save something, it will automatically reload the browser itself. For example, I will change this validate to validate JSON and I will hit save. Instantly we can affect these changes into the browser without reload this current session. Now we'll jump into the style.css to style these HTML elements. In the style.css, we'll type asterisk. What is asterisk? Asterisk is an wildcard that means all element is a universal selector to set margin and padding set to 0. So for that with the help of margin set 0 px and then padding should be 0 px. If I save, now you can able to see this sets all the margin and padding set to 0. If I remove, you can able to see the margin and padding. If I add it again, now it will be removed. So instead of that we'll add one more thing called box sizing, should be border box, and we'll set the font family to the entire element. So for that I will add a font family with the help of Poppins. The secondary font should be sans serif, and I will add the import URL of Poppins. So if I paste this import URL, if I save, now you can able to see the changes here. And now we'll add the styles to the body. So body is a selector. It will be reachable to set the styles to the body. And I will set the background color of light blue, and then we'll set min height of 100 VH. VH is an viewport height, and we'll set this all element into the center of the screen. If you want to learn how to center a div for easy methods, I have already added a video. I will add it in the code. Please do check it out. So for this, I will set display flags and align item center, justify content center. Now if I save, now you can see the background color and all the elements set to center of the screen. And then now we have set the styles to the body. We need to set the styles to the container. For that, if it is a body, we can able to directly set this body because we are going to set all the styles for this entire body. But the div is different. So if I set a styles to this div, it will applicable for all the divs. For that, we have a option to set the styles to the class. So if I copy this class, this is another selector dot with container. This will be reachable to this particular div element with the class property. So for this, I'm going to set the text align center, and then we'll set margin bottom of outer spacing of 10 px. If I save this, now you can see the changes all the values into the div center of the screen. And now we'll go and set the styles to this particular div. So for that, we have already added a class here, and I will jump into the style.css and I will hit row. We need to set those elements into the columns. For that, we have a option display flux. If I save, now you can able to see all the divs into the column, and then we'll set a gap of 30 px for each property, and we'll set this button into a list view. For that, I'm going to add another subclass called buttons. So because we are going to add some styles to this particular column, so I have added a buttons to this. So we can able to reach with dot buttons, and we'll set the align self center, and then we'll set this display as grid. We'll set gap of 25 px. Nothing will happen because we have added the class here, but we are not yet saved. If I save this, now you can see the buttons into the list view called grid. So and then we'll style the buttons. So buttons with button selector, and then height of 50 px, and then padding inner spacing should be 10 px, and then border radius 5 px, and we'll set the border 1 px solid of light gray color, and then we'll remove the outline with the help of none, and we'll set the cursor to pointer. If I save, now you can see the cursor and the button style too. So then now we'll set the styles to this text area. See, now this is resizable. We need to fix this too. So I will go here in the index.html, and for this we are not added any class. So with the HTML element selector with the text area, it will be reachable to that particular element. So for that, I will add a width of 450 px, and then height of 600 px, and we'll remove the resize with the help of none, and then inner sizing of padding 10 px, and then border 1 px solid with the same light gray color, and then we'll remove the outline too with the help of outline none, border radius set to 5 px. If I save, now you can able to see this. I will reduce the width. So this is how the styles. Now we can't able to resize this. That's all for the CSS. Now let's jump into the script.js to add the functionalities. So here in the script.js, first we need to declare the declarations. For that, we have a option called document. I will add the console.log of document. Check the incept element here. Now you can see the console.log. Document object represent your web page. So here the document is the owner of all other object in your web page. So you can able to see all the elements inside the documents. If you want to access any element in an HTML page, you always start with accessing the document object. So for that, I will add a const with the JSON before. As I said, document dot get element by ID. What is this get element by ID? The easiest way to find an HTML element in the DOM is by using the element ID. So we have the prototype with get element by ID. If you want to learn more about DOM, please let me know in the comments. I will add a separate course on that. I will add the ID value here, and will add the other text area declaration with the same const. So again with the document dot same get element by ID, and with the ID value. This is what the declaration, and then start declaring the functions. What is function? Function is a block of code designed to perform a particular task. So with the help of function keyword, we are going to create a function with the name of validate JSON. So then the second function with the help of function format beautify JSON, and then third function minify compact JSON. This is all the declarations. So now we'll start jumping into the functionalities. So for that, first we need to validate the JSON and format, and we need to minify that. I will jump into the validate JSON function. I will try to hit console.log and says, please enter JSON value. And if I save, if I go here and I will hit validate JSON, and in the console, nothing will happen because this is a function. This will execute when someone invokes or call it. So for that, we need to go here and we need to invoke it. For that, we have a option of on click, and I will set this method name and I will invoke this. Now if I save, if I came here and I will hit JSON, now you will get this console.log. So we need to show this message into this particular text area, right? For that, we need to check if user has entered the values into this particular text area or not. For that, we'll have a option to check console.log with the help of document declaration JSON before. If I JSON before dot value. So if I save, if I hit JSON validate, now we will see this is empty. If I type something, if I hit, now we will get the values over here. So with the help of this, we are going to check and will show the error message. So if JSON before dot value will equal to null, and we'll set this error message into this text area, right? So the same thing, what we can do, I will copy this value and I will replace with console.log. If I save, now if I hit validate JSON, now if it is null, we will set this value. Instead of here, we need to set into the JSON after element. So if I save, if I hit validate, now we will get a response. Please enter JSON value. So for that, we need to validate the JSON, right? So for that, I will get a sample JSON data. Here, this is a sample JSON data. I will copy it and I will paste it here. Now if I hit validate, now see, now the values is there. If I hit validate, this should be clear and we need to get a response message, right? For that, so we can return from here. Once if it is a return keyword returns whenever it reaches here from the current function execution. For that, we'll check what is JSON. The JSON object that provides function to convert JavaScript values to and it form to the JavaScript object notation. This will convert the values whatever we are providing into a JSON format. So we have a two methods, that is stringify and parse. We are going to parse this JSON before value. If I copy this, if I save, and we need to set these values. Once this parse, we need to set the validation to it. For that, again what I will do, JSON after, and I will set the value to validation successful. So if I save, if this values is empty, if I hit validate, it will shows please enter JSON value. If I will paste this sample JSON and I will hit validate, now we will get a validation successful. So if this JSON has any mistake or this is corrupted, so if I remove this comma and if I hit validate, now this is not a correct format, right? We need to show the error too. So for that, I will go into the console what it was showing. See, here we are getting the error. So this is what the error we are going to show it in the right hand side. Uncatched syntax error. So this is missed or we need to set this position. So I will undo this and I will hit validate. Now this is validate successful. Now we will not getting any of the errors. So for that, simply we can add this try catch. This is a try catch statement. This will catch the error, and with the help of this, we are going to set the error message to. If what the try catch will do, it will check this particular functionality inside the try. Once it fails, it will throw an error into the catch. With the help of this, we are going to set this value. Right. For that, I will copy this JSON after, and I will set this error directly to this. So again, I will paste the JSON here and it validate. Now we are getting the validate successful. If I remove anything and it validate, now see, now you can see the syntax error too. So this is how we are simply done with the validation. So now if I click format or beautify, this all the content should be format or it's set to beautify, right? So for that, again, we'll copy this function and go to the index.html, and here in the second button, again with the help of on click, the function name with invoke, and I will copy this too, and I will go here on click function name with calls it. So now we are going to do the format beautify JSON. So I will jump into the script.js. Inside this, we are going to format this. So for that, console.log, first we'll check JSON values. For that, we have already added the declaration. With the help of this, we can able to see the JSON values. So I will jump to here and I will copy this and I will paste. Now this will happen whenever we format. Now you can able to see the JSON values, right? With the help of this, we are going to do the beautifier here. So for that, here I have added another declaration with let parse JSON. Before we need to parse the JSON, then only we are going to beautify this. So for that, again I will parse this JSON, what we are getting, JSON before dot value, and then we'll add another let declaration with JSON format value. And then what I will do, again we have a JSON object with stringify. So this will format stringify. It will format our JSON with whatever we are expecting. So for that I will pass this pass JSON. With the help of, if we are getting any of the errors, we'll set this to undefined and we'll set these things to 4 because we'll stringify as these two additional add-ons. So we need to set this and we'll set the error of 4. If I save, and I need to show this into the JSON value, right? For that, dot value equal to JSON format value. If I save, I will paste the JSON. If I hit format, see, this is how the previous value and this is how the formatted value, right? The next thing we'll go and do the minify. So the same thing, I will go into the minify function, go and set this JSON value to the parse, and we are going to stringify. So I will copy this again. If I remove other two properties, it will stringify the JSON values with the help of JSON object. So again, I will go here and I will paste it the JSON here and I will hit minify. See, now this is compressed. If I hit the format, now with the help of string at the line of 4, it will be format and it will be show as a beautifier. If I hit validate, now this is validate. If I remove something and I hit validate, now this is throws an error. If I do format, what will happen? See, now we get the error. This should not happen, right? We need to fix this. For that, with the help of this validate JSON, so what I will do, I will go here in the function. So with the help of validate JSON, I will invoke this and I will set this. Now if I save, I will paste here. If I hit format, now it is shows validate successful. Why? Because we need to show the beautify, right? For that, we need to make use of this function with return true. Once this is return true, return true. We'll set this and now again I will paste the JSON. Now if I hit format, now it will beautify this. what happened when we call this JSON function, insert this format, so it will execute here and this will check if the values is present or not. If I remove this, if I format, now we will get the error message. Once this values is present, if I hit format, now this will check this condition and this is satisfied and it will parse. And if it is parse, it will set this thing to validate successful and it will return from this with the true value. So once this is true, again we are checking the parse and we are doing the stringify and we are setting this JSON Beautify value into the JSON after. And this will replace the validate successful message into the text area. So if you want to see that, I will go to the source and then script. I will debug and I will show you. I will go here and I will hit a breakpoint here. If I hit format or beautify, see previously here we have some values with the beautify. So because now this is true and now we'll get a validate successful in the text box. If I hit resume or if you execute this code and now it will replace the previous value. This is how that function will work. The same thing we need to do for Minify also, right? If it is validate, then only we are going to check validate JSON and I will close this. If I save, now again I will paste it here. If validate, beautify and Minify. So if I remove this and validate JSON, here it is error and it is format and this also this should be an error. If I undo this, if I format, it will be formatted and if I hit Minify, we can able to see the Minify value also here. So again I will remove and I will check validate and I will re-enter validate Minify and Minify. I will copy this and I will paste here and I will check validate and I can able to minify this and I can able to beautify this minified value. That's all for the JSON app. If you are very much interested in the Java project, I have added a playlist name called Beginner to Advanced. There are very cool projects. Level up your JavaScript knowledge. I have added a link in the description. Please do check it out. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, keep coding and keep learning. See you in the next video. Happy coding. Bye for now. Have a nice day.